Hi and welcome to my booktube channel. My name is Sam and today I want to talk to you about some books, both ones that I am going to be hauling and books that I'm going to be unhauling. So yeah, let's start off 2025 with a clean slate. Coming out of December, I really wanted to kind of freshen up my shelves and I'm going to be honest, I rearranged my entire shelves and I feel like I have more books than I did when I unhauled the 60 books that are going to be in this video. Like, I took out 60 books from my bookshelves and somehow they feel fuller than they ever have been, which is kind of unhinged and I feel insecure about that. But yeah, what was I saying? I went through my shelves and I was like, do I really need to keep this book anymore? What did I feel about this book? And yeah, I'm going to talk through all those in this video, but also I want to start this book video with a little bit of a positive start because we want this year to be positive and we're manifesting as all to fill our bookish goals. So I'm going to be starting with a haul of all the books that I'm really excited for, and hopefully by the end of the year you'll be able to come back and be like, hey, he read that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and he didn't read that one but he read that one. So hopefully holding myself accountable and showing all the books that I'm going into the year with, hopefully going out of the year I'll be able to come back and see that I've read them all. Anyway, I'm rambling. So basically this video was initially going to be a one in one out situation. I was going to haul a book and I was going to unhaul a book, but then I kind of went unhinged and I got 60 books to unhaul and only 25 to haul. So yeah, we're kind of working at a 2.4 ratio for like hauling a book, get rid of 2.4 books. Which is very interesting and I'm quite happy about that, to be honest with you. So yeah, if you're just here for the unhaul, feel free to skip. I'm going to do chapters in the timeline so you can see the unhaul and the haul section. If you're not interested in the haul, go to the unhaul, do whatever. I know unhauls kind of get more views, but yeah, if you want to see what books I did get, then feel free. So yeah, without much further ado, let's get into the 25 books that I'll be hauling into the new year, into 2025. Yeah, like, comment and subscribe. Let's get into the video. Let's go. So I'm not quite sure what order to go about this haul in. Like, I don't really know how to differentiate the different books, so I'm just gonna like pick a stack and then we'll work our way through them. So yeah, that means our first book is going to be Timber Dark by Lily. I nearly dropped this one and in the process dropped all the other ones. But this one is by Darren Charlton and this is actually a sequel to a book called Wranglestone. Now this, I believe, is a duology. I don't know if there's going to be any more, but this is basically a gay zombie apocalypse story. In the first one, no spoilers obviously, but in the first one basically we follow a community of survivors who live in a national park above a lake. They have like stilt houses and that kind of keeps the zombies at bay because the zombies can't go in the water, but winter is approaching, the lake's going to freeze over and they have to decide what is going to happen about that and how they're going to survive this situation. And they have different rituals around dealing with the dying or the zombies, and it's a very interesting read. It wasn't necessarily a 5-star, but I think I gave it 3 to 4 stars. I did enjoy it and I do want to go into the sequel, specifically because I have a video planned surrounding gay zombies, so keep an eye out for that and subscribe for that. But yeah, I just wanted to get the sequel for that video and hopefully this will be better. There was something towards the end of the first book where I was kind of like, I don't know where this is going. So that'll be interesting to dive into this one. But the first book that I'll be hauling is Timber Dark by Darren Charlton. The next book will be Clown in the Cornfield by Adam Cesare. Now this book sounds so 2016 because it's about killer clowns, or a killer clown I should say, and it's kind of a slasher. Again, this is for a video that I'm planning on in the future, so I won't say too much. But yeah, basically small town, killer clown, slasher. This is going to be fun, hopefully. And I found this in a charity shop, which is so random because I feel like, I don't know, this is just not a book that I expected to find in a charity shop. And the next book is also a sequel. We're getting a couple of sequels to start this haul off, but we have Return to the Dalagut Dream Department Store. This is a sequel to the Dalagut Dream Department Store. What a tongue twister, why is the title so long? This is by Mei Lee, and this is a Korean translated novel about a department store that sells dreams and these different kind of like a dream where you can fly, a dream where you can see your ex-lover and stuff like that. The first book is very interesting so far. Basically, we follow Penny, who is kind of trying to get a job at this department store and trying to find her position in this store because each floor has like different dreams and different kind of personalities of the sellers, and yeah, I'm really enjoying the first one, so I thought I'd get this one whilst it was on buy one get one half price at Waterstones. So now I'm prepared. And also it's one of those like weird paperbacks where they're slightly taller than other paperbacks. So I have a normal paperback, Timber Dark, so that's like a normal paperback, so it's like one of like the weirdly tall ones, and they only have this run for a while because they did it for the first book where it was like this size and then it went to a normal book size, so I wanted to get a matching one. I'm rambling, but yeah, that's the third book. The next book that I'll be hauling is Second Chances in Newport Stephen, and this is by TJ Alexander, who I believe is a non-binary author, so that'll be cool. But yeah, this one is about two gay guys, I believe, and this second chances. I don't know too much, but again, this is for a video. But yeah, I'm very excited. The next book is The Teller of Small Fortunes. Small Fortunes, Big Feelings is the tagline. This is by Julie Leong. And this one is about a fortune teller who kind of just travels around. It's giving very much like Monk and the Robot vibes. But then one day someone comes to her and is like, hey, this kid got stolen, can you help me find him? And they're like, yeah, sure, I'll help you. And it's kind of this journey of like telling fortunes whilst also trying to figure out what happened to this missing kid. It sounds very interesting. It's such a beautiful edition. It's a signed one as well. Like, look at the inside. Look how beautiful that artwork is. It's signed. I had to get it. I had to get it. And also the front cover, I nearly forgot to show that. You can't. Reflection, there we go. It's got this beautiful cat on it. It's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful, but I didn't buy this just for the cat, I promise. Is Heavenly Tyrant, which is another sequel to a book called I Am Widow, which basically follows it's a retelling of the only female emperor of China. But yeah, I'm very excited to get into this one. The first book I kind of have mixed feelings on. Like, I love the start and I love the end, but in the middle of the book, I completely blanked out. Like, I have no idea what happened in the middle of that book. So, yeah. But basically, it follows. It's a retelling of the only female emperor of China, and she is basically trying to overthrow this horrible government system. And they use giant mechas to kind of fight giant aliens, and it's like such a weird concept, but it's very fun, and I definitely recommend trying it out. And yeah, I'm very excited to get into the next one, Heavenly Tyrant. And I just love the artwork on these books. I'm a sucker for some artwork, but like, look at that, it's so cool. And this one is also signed, which I'm very happy about. But yeah, that's the next book. The next book that I got is The Ghost Cat by Alex Howard. Now, this book follows a cat and its 9 lives and all the different interactions it has within these lives. And I mainly got this one because it had a cat in the title, and I love books about cats. I did my dissertation on books about cats. I would always get a book if there's a cat on the cover and it's about cats, okay? And this one specifically is set in Edinburgh, which was also a reason that I bought it, because my mum was born in Edinburgh and grew up in Scotland. So yeah, I always feel like a nice connection to Edinburgh, like my mum is from there. So yeah, I wanted to read it because of that as well. So yeah, cats, Edinburgh, you've got me there, okay? The Ghost Cat. We're speeding through these. I feel very positive about this video already. The next book that I'll be hauling is The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turnton. And this is set in a world where a poisonous fog has enveloped the world. Everyone's dead, it's post-apocalyptic, except this one island that the fog doesn't touch, and it's filled with scientists trying to discover a way around the fog, discover how they can survive in this world. But then someone's murdered, and it's like, we're only a small community, so why did a murder take place? Who did it? There's a murderer amongst our ranks. It's like a thriller at the end of the world. And it sounds very, very interesting, so I wanted to grab this. And I will say, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but the text is like, it's like pressed outwards, and it has a really interesting texture. So I thought I would point that out. It has a really nice texture. But yeah, that's The Murder at the End of the World. The next book is another apocalypse one, and this is called The Mammoth Book of Apocalyptic SF. I don't know what SF stands for. Sci-fi? I'm guessing, actually. well, why did I say I didn't know? I guess it stands for science fiction. I don't know, but it's the Mounds Book of Apocalypses. And I have started it very briefly. I've read 4 pages. And this is basically a collection of short stories about different apocalypses, and it's edited by Mike Ashley, and includes stories from Stephen Baxter, Alistair Reynolds, Cory Doctorow, Robert Silverberg, Elizabeth Bear, and many more. And yeah, it's just a collection of different stories about different apocalypses. We go from 3 examples on the back are: a vaccine threatens to turn a virus that could wipe out mankind in Bloodletting by Kate Wilhelm, Will the Internet Destroy Civilization or Save It by Cory Doctorow, and Eric Brown depicts a world in the grip of a climate change. So there's like loads of different kind of ideas on how the world will end and all these different stories about that. And I'm very excited because I love a good dystopian. I love a good story about the end of the world. So a mammoth book about them is very exciting. Hopefully it won't let me down. I'm never normally a fan of short story collections. I normally find them quite disappointing, mostly because some of the stories don't live up to other ones, but I'm going to give this one a go. It's given me Out of the Ruins vibes, which is another short story collection about the end of the world, and I hated that book, so hopefully this one will be better. But yeah. Then the next book has one of the funniest titles, but also like, why is this a title? But it's a very funny title, and it's called The Girl Who Could Move Shit With Her Mind. Now that immediately made me go, hey, I want to read that, because that stands for like telekinesis is always a really fun superpower. And then the cover was very interesting. We have all these like blurred items, one of which is a dog that looks like it's being flung around, like the poor dog. And yeah, it just really gripped me, this title. And then the description is basically saying it's about a woman who can move things with her mind, and the government kind of exploits her for this and sends her on various different very hard missions to do, and she just wants to stop, she wants to chill out, she wants to get away from this life. And it just sounded so me, so interesting. And yeah, that title, The Girl Who Can Move Shit With Her Mind, I love that. And I think this is a series as well, because on the shelf when I was buying it, I kind of went into Waterstones with like, hey, I got a bunch of like gift vouchers and money for Christmas, I have an unlimited budget, and this is one that I picked up, and I saw a couple of others on the shelf. So I think this is a series if you're interested, and this is by Jackson Ford. Then the next book is going to be one of my Divided by 3 buddy reads with Emily and Elizabeth. We are continuing into 2025. I'm so excited. Thank you, Emily and Elizabeth, for continuing this with me. I will try and keep updated with videos this year. I did fall behind extremely in 2024, but in 2025 we're going to do better. Don't hold me to that. But the next book is The Atlas Gene, which isn't going to be a read until like the end of the year. I think it's around September time that we'll be reading this, but I found it in a charity shop, just like, I wasn't even looking for it. I just saw the Atlas Gene, that's one that I know I'm going to be reading, and I was like, great. Now I got it for like £2, like great. But yeah, this one is very similar to Ascension, a book we read last year by Nicholas Binge, about, I believe, well, this one's about a civilization that is in the middle of the Antarctic or the ocean, I can't remember. But oh, this is by A.G. Riddle, by the way. And basically a team of scientists goes and explores what the hell's going on. And it hopefully it'll be good. It's a lot thicker than Ascension, so it's either going to be doubly good or doubly bad. Probably shouldn't compare it when I haven't even read the book, but there we go. The Atlas Gene by A.G. Riddle. The next book is one that I spent a lot of money on because I thought it would be bigger, and then it came and it was like this big. I'm very angry that this is so short, because I spent, what was it, like $15.99 on this, and I was expecting it to be like, I was expecting it to be like a normal book, and it came and it was like this, and I was like, what the fuck? But this is The Only Safe Place Left is the Dark. This is a zombie book, a queer zombie book. Again, for a similar video to what Timber Dark is going to be in, hint hint, this is by Warren Wagner, and yeah, I need it for that video, and I'm excited. It's got a lot of really good reviews, and it better, because it's fucking tiny. I'm so annoyed that it's this small, and it was that's criminal. Amazon, get your shit together, like, come on. Then the next one is The Lantern of Lost Memory, and this one is about kind of a small workshop where it's kind of one of those typical kind of magical realism stories. Like, I've been getting a lot of them, and they're all kind of blurring together in my brain, like I can't differentiate them. But this one is about, I think, they make like these lanterns, you know, the ones like you set a little fire in it and it floats up in the air, and they imbue that with a bad memory, and it kind of like works, they work through the memory and then it goes off, and I assume it'll be like different characters with different bad memories, and we'll like explore them throughout the characters. There's also a cat on the cover, and Mount Fuji in the back, which I have been up twice. Flex. But yeah, it was half price, so I thought, why not? And this one, the Marigold Mind Laundry Mat, or Laundry, sorry, by Jung Gwen Yun. Oh, I didn't say, I think this is Japanese translated, this is Korean translated. And now this one I want to read the back because I don't know how to sum this book up, but it sounds so fun. So it says, welcome to our mind laundry, where we wash the stains from your hearts. When a young Joanne accidentally misuses her powers, causing her entire family to vanish, she vows to spend 1,000,000 lives searching for them. Overnight, in the village of Marigold, she creates her mind laundry, where she converts bad memories into stains on a t-shirt. After a wash, they emerge as red petals that dance into the air. We meet 5 wounded souls: a frustrated young filmmaker, a tortured social media influencer, a distraught mother who has discovered her husband's other family, a young woman two-timed by her lover, and young guy, a victim of bullying who escapes into a routine job. Soul-stirring and empowering, Marigold Mind Laundry has already demonstrated its power to move the hearts of thousands of readers. As we laugh, wonder, and grow, we learn how to tap into the positivity and magic that lies within us all. That sounds so quaint, but also kind of unhinged, and I'm very excited. Like, how did you make your whole family vanish? Like, what are these powers that you have? And also the cover. I'm a stickler, like I said, for art on covers, and this is good. And it's like one of those ones where it's like the size of a paperback, but it's hardback, which I really appreciate. I really like this kind of book. They're very cool. I like this. But yeah, so the next one I have is a What If book, and this is What If Wanda Maximoff, one of my absolute favourite Marvel characters, and Peter Parker, one of my other absolute favourite Marvel characters, were siblings. So 2 of my favourite characters that had nothing to do with each other in any of the films that we've seen are now siblings in this book. So I thought, why not? But the only thing that worries me about this book is it's written by Shauna McGuire, aka Myra Grant. If you have watched my previous videos that feature her, you'll know I'm not a massive fan, specifically of her book called Feed, which is a zombie apocalypse book, and the 2 main characters that are siblings have very incesty vibes, and the book was also just a complete letdown. 2 separate things there, but they were both kind of grim. And then also her Every Heart a Doorway series was kind of disappointing. I read it the first time, completely just disappointed in it. Then I read it again, I was like, okay, it's better, I guess, than it was originally, but I'm still not a massive fan. But yeah, I've just had a very like iffy relationship with Shauna McGuire's work. So it kind of worries me because I am very excited for this book, because obviously I really love Wanda Maximoff and Peter Parker, so I really hope she does some justice. But yeah, I could be getting myself into a world of pain here. Like, this could be absolutely atrocious. But I'm going to give her one more chance, okay? Shauna McGuire, you have one more chance to win me over. If you mess this up for me, I'm never reading one of your books again, okay? The next book is Heads Will Roll. Now, this is another slasher book. I might include this in a video that I have coming up, but I'm not 100% sure I'm going to use it because it's not strictly... Well, spoilers, but it's not strictly a slasher book. It's more kind of supernaturally, because basically this follows... Who's the main character called? I hate when there's like quotes on the back of the book. Like, tell me the synopsis on there. I don't want to have to open the book. This follows a character called Willow who needs an escape, so she goes to an adult summer camp. However, one night when they are telling spooky stories around the campfire, one is told about a kind of begruntled witch who knocks twice and then murders you. And they start to hear knocks and people start to die. So yes, maybe the story wasn't as much of a story as they had hoped. So a peaceful adult summer camp ends up as a bloodbath, and I'm very excited. And this is by Josh Winning. It has, again, a very nice cover. I love kind of the faded picture vibes around the edge of it. Very excited for this one. Sounds very cool. The next one is again one of those kind of wholesome translated reads about just people getting over things. This is called The Full Moon Coffee Shop. This is translated, I believe, from Japanese. Oh my god, look at that. That's so pretty. This is translated from Japanese, I think. And is basically about a coffee shop. And we see, very similar to a lot of these other books, people just expressing their traumas, their past, and we have introspection onto them as characters, and there's revelation, there's cats involved, there's a coffee shop involved. And I think we all know what to expect, but I'm excited, and this was half price. This went from like $16.99 to $8.99 for a hardback. Can't complain. Okay, so we're on to the last stack of books to haul, and then we'll be getting on to the unhaul, which is going to be humongous, so let's take our time here. So the next book that I'll be hauling is The Secret History by Unhaul, which I know is very infamous. A lot of people love this book, and specifically my friend loves this book and has always wanted me to read it, and I found this in TK Maxx for like $3.99, so I was like, you know what, Mum, will you get me this for Christmas? And she was like, yeah, sure. So yeah, I have The Secret History now. Hopefully it lives up to the expectations that I have been given by all these different people saying it's the best book ever. I haven't read Unhaul before. I do own The Goldfinch, which I really want to read. I watched the film for that. But yeah, I've never read Unhaul before. I have read a book called If We Were Villains that has often been described as The Secret History and like being exactly like The Secret History, and I didn't like that book, so I'm a bit scared in that sense. Like, I've read a book that everyone says is very similar to The Secret History and I didn't like it at all, so does that mean I'm not going to like The Secret History? I don't know. Then I have another book that I'm really excited for as the literature student within me. I'm very excited for this book, and this is Julia, which is a retelling of 1984 by George Orwell, from the other main characters, Julia's perspective. And Julia is the kind of love interest of 1984, so I'm very interested to kind of see what Sandra Newman does with this character to kind of subvert what we saw in the original, and how getting out of the head of the main character in that one and actually seeing Julia in her full rather than as like a separate entity to that main character, because he was kind of all over the place himself. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens in this book and how Julia is reframed. And yeah, it's going to be very fun. I'm very excited for this one. So the next book is Apocalypse Z. I think there's a running theme. You can tell I might be doing some zombie related videos this year because I've hauled quite a few zombie books. But this is Apocalypse Z, The Beginning of the End. This is a Spanish translated novel, so it's given me some hope. And yeah, this is just about the zombie apocalypse. Hopefully it'll be fun. So the next book is The Other Black Girl by Zakaya Delilah Harris. Now, this was one I heard about a couple of years ago. I was very excited when I found this in TK Maxx for £3.90. So this one follows Nella, who has been the only black employee in her workplace for the longest time, until Hazel arrives in the cubicle next to hers. And weird notes start to appear, threatening notes, and we have to uncover who's sending these notes, what's happening, and I'm very interested to find out what's going to go down in this book. I've heard nothing but good things about this book, so very excited for this. The next one I have is Fortune Falls by Lou Fain. This one is another dystopian book, and this one follows a bunch of teenagers who were on, I think, a school trip. And then the end of the world happened, and they were like, you know what? Let's just go live in the mountains and try and survive in the mountains. So that's what this book is about. Another apocalypse one. I love my apocalyptic books. Yeah, this is book one, and I think it's a series, so we'll see if it's any good. Okay, we're down to the last 3 books now. So the next one is The Fake Dating Game by Timothy Genovsky. This is the same author as from my previous video, the Mary's Misters author. Okay, I like that book, so hopefully this will be good. But this is basically revolving around fake dating, and they're on a game show set in like a supermarket. I'm interested to see how that goes. And they have to do a bit of fake dating, I'm guessing, but the fake is in brackets, so like all fake dating, they're probably going to end up dating. We know this already. Another TK Maxx find. very excited. TK Maxx has been doing great in 2024. Hopefully it continues to be great in 2025. The next book is Breasts and Eggs by Miko Kawakami. Miko Kawakami has written other books, specifically Heaven, which is a book about bullying, and I absolutely love that book. I buddy read it with one of my uni friends and we were both just like obsessed with it. It was great, it was fun. She's also wrote All the Lovers in the Night, which I have not read yet. And then also Breasts and Eggs. So now I have her backlog, at least the ones they sell in Waterstones, and I'm very excited for this one. This is a Japanese translated one. I'm not 100% sure what it's about, but it's by Miko Kawakami, so I have faith because from the one book that I've read from her, I really like her. So I'm excited to delve into this one, which is actually her longest one. So yeah, exciting. And then the last book that I'll be hauling is Letters from the Ginza Shihodo Stationery Shop. And it's another one of those books where it's probably just going to be wholesome stories of people entering the stationery shop and finding what they need and resolving internal traumas and issues they're having in their lives. We all know the gist. I keep saying this, they're all the same, but they're all fun, they're all wholesome. This is a Japanese translated one and it's by Kenji Ueda. There's a cat on the cover, as we all expect. I love the colours of this one as well, and it's one of those paperbacks with flaps, which I also really appreciate. Do I need to say more? It's going to be probably letters being like, hey, you really helped me. I came to your stationery store and I found everything I needed. It's probably going to be something like that, but I love that kind of stuff. So yeah, and I also just love scientific fiction. So there's that. So yeah, that is all 25 books that I'll be hauling in this video. Thank you if you watched this section. If you didn't, you missed out, but let's not tell them that. But yeah, hopefully you found some books that you're interested in that kind of section as well. If you do end up getting any of those, let me know in the comments below and we can kind of discuss our thoughts when we've read them. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, you always feel free to message me if you've read these books. Just be like, hey loser, I read this book, have you read it yet? Let's talk. Feel free to do that. But yeah, sorry, it's raining outside, but it's just snowed, so now all the snow's gonna be washed away and I just got distracted, sorry. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me and talk about these books on Instagram. My handle is at Sam Young's Books. I do want it to be like Love Sam, but like I feel like we're too far in for me to change it now. So now it just doesn't match my YouTube. Who cares? But yeah, as I said, that was the haul. There 25 books. Now we're gonna go on haul 60 books to make up for that, because that is unhinged. I should not have 25 books. I'm very privileged. I'm very grateful for all those books, all the ones that were gifted to me, all the ones I found discounted price in charity shops and TK Maxx, all the ones I just bought in Waterstones. I hold my hands up. I bought too many books. But we're going to sort that in 2025. So yeah, to compensate for the 25 that I've just read, I'm going to be unhauling 60 books. So let's stop babbling on and get into that unhaul now. So yeah, let's go. So hi, welcome back. If you are just here for the unhaul section, you really missed a doozy with the haul section. There was a lot of really fun books in there, so are you sure you don't want to go back and watch that? I'll give you time. Look, go watch it. I'll wait. Okay, you didn't click. Okay, so let's just get into the haul. So all these books are, I'm going to try and separate them the best I can, but some of them are books where I'm just like, I'm not going to get to this anymore, and I don't really want it. And some of these are books where I want different variations of the book. Maybe I want it in hardback or I want a different cover for it. Some of these are DNFs, some of these are series that I'm just like over. I've read them, I'm over them now. And some of them are books that I just really hated or don't want to keep anymore. So yeah, a lot of variations. Let's dive straight into them. There's 60, so I'll try and be as quick as I can because we're already at around 30 minutes for this video. Okay, so I'm not going to necessarily explain all of these books as there are 60 of them. I will maybe give like a line about a couple of them about why I'm getting rid of them, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. And some of these have appeared in their own respective videos. But yeah, the first one that I'll be getting rid of, starting off strong, is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I have a dedicated video to this one. I didn't necessarily hate it. I didn't think it was the worst thing ever, but I also didn't think it was good. So I have a dedicated video for that. It's right here. So go check that out. But yeah, I don't feel the need to hold on to the physical copy of this anymore. And yeah, goodbye Fourth Wing. It was nice knowing you, I guess. I still can't get over that when the dragons are horny, the riders get horny as well. That was weird. That was very weird. Next, I'll be getting rid of Death of a Bookseller. This one was very disappointing. I met the author in real life. Here she is. She was absolutely wonderful. She was lovely. We chatted about our favourite books. She signed this one. and I was very disappointed by it. Yeah, it just didn't really live up to what I was hoping it would do. It's basically about a psycho bookseller who wants to kill the new employee because she's very jealous and like of her, but it just nothing happens. This entire book, nothing happens until the last 10 pages where something actually happens, and it's like, oh, so I just read that and it was a complete waste of time. So sorry, Alice Slater, you were absolutely lovely in person. I will definitely try out your future books, but this one was not for me. Bye. So next I have the first 3 volumes of a comic book series called Eclipse. This is set in a world where the sun is extremely deadly. If you go out during the day, you will get fried. And it's crazy, you can only go at nighttime. Humanity now lives underground. This takes place in New York. And I feel like this comic book series squandered that premise and that kind of cool exploration of that world by instead focusing on an uninteresting murder mystery and detective thriller. It wasn't very good. The characters were shallow and uninteresting. The archetypes were rather predictable, and yeah, it's such a waste of time. I really wanted more from this world. So if you know a book series that takes place in a similar kind of world where the sun like fries anything if you go outside, please let me know, because that's such an interesting concept for a world, and it wasn't done justice in this one, so I'll be getting rid of these 3 volumes. Next book I'll be unhauling is Chilling Effects by Valerie Valdez. This, I believe, was the March pick for mine and Elizabeth and Emily's Divided by 3 buddy read series in 2024 last year. This was one that really disappointed me. It felt like it was gonna be a Becky Chambers-esque story with psychic cats, but then it squandered that, and the psychic cats were barely in it, so what a disappointment, you know? But it has a beautiful cover, and I'm probably going to say that about a lot of these books, but please ignore me, I just really like my cover. But yeah, Chilling Effects, very disappointing. Read Becky Chambers instead, she's much better. So the next one is Lap Vona. This one was just gross and weird, and I didn't like it. There's a specific scene where like a young boy is forced to put a grape up his... and it was really uncomfortable, really gross. Didn't like it. I wouldn't recommend. The next one is one that I absolutely seethe with anger about because it's so kind of disappointing, and it just makes me angry, but that is Diary of a Bookseller. This man, Sean Blythe, is... I'm probably being harsh here, but he's an asshole. He makes selling books sound benign, and he's constantly rude to literally everyone in this book, which is basically his diary. And he makes books sound so miserable and selling books to be so miserable, and he really does a disjustice to the bookish community and the people that interact with books. He makes them sound like losers, and it's like, why did you feel the need to put this out into the world? You're a miserable man. Do not grace my presence ever again. I do not want to read any more by you. I don't know, that's just how I felt. I see with anger when I see this book, because it really let me down. And like, yeah, he's just an asshole. He was mean to everyone. You know what, bye. It's Tokyo Una Station by Yumiri. This one was kind of a disappointment. Like, I took this all the way to Japan just for it to kind of let me down. This follows a homeless man recounting his life story, but it's non-chronological, which really disorientated me and made me not like it. And I understand why Miri chose to do that, and it is a very interesting writing choice, but personally for me, I didn't enjoy it. I probably would have liked this book if it was segmented into chapters and was told chronologically, or at least was clear when things were happening. It had potential, which makes it disappointing that I didn't like it. And may as well follow on from that translated Japanese novel with some more. Now, these are 4 books by an author called Murakami, who you might be familiar with, and I'm going to be getting rid of all my Murakami books besides Sputnik Sweetheart, which is annotated, so I don't really see a point of trying to get rid of it. I may as well leave it on my shelf. It's like that big. But I'll be getting rid of the rest of his books that I own. I read Kafka on the Shore, which I'll talk about more in my best and worst books of the year video, but this was so gross, and honestly, I think he needs his internet history checked, because some of the things in this book were like, why are you writing this? There was like so much potential in this as well, because it was literally a really cute old man that could talk to cats. Like, you should have just focused on that storyline, okay? And I also tried to read Norwegian Wood, because I know my friend really liked it, so it had a lot of potential. Didn't finish it, DNF'd it. found it kind of boring, not gonna lie. So yeah, I didn't finish that one. So these are the two that I attempted to read / read, and then these two I didn't read, but I've just been so let down by these two that I'm not even gonna try. I'm just giving up with Murakami. He's not for me. But yeah, so that's Norwegian Wood, Kafka on the Shore, The Wind-Up Bird Chronicles, and 1Q84 that I'll be getting rid of. The next ones I'm getting rid of feel very mean and very harsh because I love both these authors, but when they work together, they don't make very good stories. And that is Becky Albertelli and Adam Silvera, who came together to write the What If It's Us duology, and I didn't like them. And I love Becky Albertelli. I literally named my channel after her Love Simon book, aka Simon vs. the Homo sapiens agenda. I've literally met her. She was absolutely lovely. She was wonderful. I love her. I love Simon specifically. I named my entire channel about it. So it feels so harsh to get rid of books by her. And Adam Silvera as well. Like, I adore the Die at the End and the First to Die at the End, and hopefully the third book that's coming out hopefully this year. I don't know when it's coming out, maybe next year, I don't know. But I love that series as well, although with Adam Silvera I have more kind of experience of being disappointed by his works because I didn't like History's All You Left Me, or whatever the other one was called. I don't know what the other one was called, and I only liked Infinity Son. I didn't like the sequel to it. So I'm a bit more experienced with being disappointed by Adam Silvera. But Becky Albertelli, I'm so sorry. Like, I love you. I love you. Please don't take this as personal offense. You'll probably never see this, but please don't take this as personal offense. I just didn't like these books. This one was okay. This one was completely forgettable. This one, it's just kind of creeped me out. Specifically, like, the first interaction between the characters is they're at a post office, and I think it's Ben, one of them, Ben or Arthur, falls in love with the other and doesn't get his contact information, but the guy puts his parcel in the bin, so he looks at the information on the parcel to get like into the other guy's life, and it really creeped me out. And I know it was acknowledged as creepy in the book, but that doesn't make it any better. And yeah, I just didn't really feel anything between these characters. I completely don't remember the plot of either of these books. So yeah, I'm so sorry, Becky Albertelli, but I'm gonna have to let go of this duology. Sorry, Adam, as well. I will continue to read your books, but these two were just not it. So the next one is American Gods by Neil Gaiman, a man who cannot keep his hands to himself, as news has now reported. So I'm going to be unhauling this one. I read it back in May when Elizabeth, The Readers Digest, and all those lovely people were hosting Galactathon, which I did a video on. You can see here. I don't know if I talked about that in that video. I don't think I did. But I read American Gods when they were doing a page a day, a point a page day on May the 4th, and I was like, you know what, I'll just pick the biggest book that I own and get as many points. I didn't actually think I could just read manga and comics and get loads of points that way. I thought that the second time they did a page a point thing, but for the first time I was like, I'm just gonna pick the biggest book and get loads of points. So I read American Gods, and I remember barely anything about this book. I did really like the interactions between the old gods of like the Old Norse gods and the new gods of like gods of technology and stuff like that. I like that concept, but I don't think it was done very well because I don't remember any of it. And yeah, it had potential, but yeah, goodbye American Gods. So the next book also has a really problematic author, and this one is kind of unhinged, and I definitely encourage you to do your own research because I'm probably not going to do the drama justice here. But it involves the death of a man, and that is Delilah Owens' Where Crawdads Sing, which in itself wasn't a bad book. Like, it was kind of enjoyable, forgettable but enjoyable. But then I found out about the author, who basically is actively being pursued still by, I can't remember what country, but it's in Africa, and basically she was inciting violence against potential poachers, whether there was evidence that they were a poacher or not, and this guy ended up getting murdered, and then Delilah, her husband, and her son fled and have not returned since, and the country is still actively out for their arrest, and it's very insane. That is insane drama behind this author, and I don't want this in my collection anymore. She's literally involved with the murder of a man. What the hell? So yeah, I don't want this book anymore, so I'm gonna let it go. So the next book is Under the Whispering Door, which I found rather forgettable and uninteresting. It had potential, but It just wasn't for me. This is by TJ Klune as well, who I've kind of had a rocky relationship with. I don't tend to really like his books. I read the Extraordinary series, really didn't like those ones. And I've also read The House by the Cerulean Sea, which I kind of enjoyed. And then I found out that he had basically learned about the genocide of Indigenous people in Canada and went, you know what, someone should write this as a fantasy book. And then he wrote kind of like a white savior novel about it. And that kind of is iffy with me. But yeah, I don't have the best relationship with TJ Klune, so I think this is going to be my last attempt and I'm going to be unhauling it. So yeah, I did read it, I just didn't like it. So Under the Rust Ring Door, bye bye. So then the next book is the Shadowhunter Codex by Cassandra Clare and Joshua Lewis. This was an unnecessary addition to the Shadowhunter universe. It literally adds nothing. It just tells you what you already know when you've read the series. Like, or everything in here is explained as you read the story of the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices. So there's really no point in here apart from the additional like couple of annotations by the characters within the actual story, like Clary and Jason, stuff like that, who I don't like anyway. So yeah, I'm going to be getting rid of this one, and I'm also going to include this as like a hint to a potential series that I'll be reviewing this year if I can get around to it. Here's a hint. Very obvious. And the next one is again another buddy read I did with Emily and Elizabeth for our Divided by 3 project. And that is Ghost Station, which I'm sure Elizabeth is not surprised to see here. This is by S.A. Barnes. This basically is a horror in space and nothing happens. It's very disappointing and very boring until the last couple of pages, which even then leave so many unanswered questions. I just didn't really like it, so I'm going to be getting rid of it. That's Ghost Station. Okay, so these next couple of books are books that I just don't think I'm going to get around to anymore, so I'm going to be quick with these ones. We have The Foundling by Stacey Hall, Descendant of a Crane, Throne of Swans, Blood-Sucking Friends, Tom Hanks' Uncommon Type, Stephen King's The Gunslinger, which I've had for the longest time and I've just never got around to, so I think it's time for me to let go of this one. This Lie Will Kill You, Spies of Canaan, The Familiars by Stacey Hall again, Less Is Lost, which I found is a sequel to a book that I don't even have or have read yet, so I do want to read it, but I'm probably going to end up getting that one in paperback, so there's no point in me having the hardback. I got this for like 70% off when I raided the warehouse. Check out this video. I got it for 70% off, so I don't feel that bad, and someone else is going to find this and really enjoy it. So yeah, you're welcome. Then the last one of that kind of section is The Way of All Flesh, which is set in Edinburgh, so I kind of feel bad. But I've just had it for so long, and I've never got around to it, and I keep telling myself I'm going to get around to it, but really I'm only wanting to read it because it's set in Edinburgh. So I need to let it go. I have another book that's set in Edinburgh now, so I can replace this one and probably never read that one instead. But yeah, All the Way of Flesh, goodbye. The next two are ones that I want different editions of, so don't be too offended when I hold up Sylvia Moreno Garcia's Gods of Jade and Shadow. I really want the hardback for this one because all my other Sylvia Moreno Garcia, besides Mexican Gothic, which is annotated anyway, are hardback. So I want this to be in hardback so it matches those. I did like this one, so I'm going to gently put this down. And then the next one is Strange the Dreamer by Lani Taylor. I was so frustrated because I really wanted the nice blue cover with like the golden moth on the front cover, but at the time I was looking for it, it just wasn't available on Amazon or Waterstones or anywhere I looked. I just couldn't find it. I could only find this cover, which is really ugly, and it feels like it should be like the cover of the ARC, not the main book. It has like these really tacky, like spray painted butterflies, moths. I don't like this cover at all. But now, whenever I go to Waterstones, I see the covers that I want. So I'm going to go get that one. And I'm also going to get the sequel because I need to read that. But yeah, I have a video on this. It's a very old one, so I don't know how much it stands up. But you can go watch that if you want. But yeah, I just want the nice copies of this duology, okay? So these next couple of books are all books that I've DNF'd. So yeah. First one we have is Other People Manage by Ellen Hallway. I found this really boring. I read about half of it and just wasn't that interested, which is a shame because it's signed and it has a really beautiful cover with this photography. It's all orange and sunset. Oh, that's sad, but I did enjoy it. The next one is one that I kind of reluctantly DNF'd, and that is A Taste of Darkness. I have had this on my currently reading shelf for the longest time, and I've been slowly picking away at the short stories. It's an anthology of horror stories, and I just didn't like any of them. I read about 4 of them, and I was just so unimpressed that I just feel like I need to just call it a day. Next one is I'll Give You the Sun, which, hold on, I know a lot of people like this one, but honestly, I tried to read this a couple of years ago. I don't remember anything about it, and all I remember is being bored. So I'm so sorry, but I'll Give You the Sun is going back to where I got it from, which is a charity shop. The next one is one that I talked about recently, I think, in my Korea vlog. But this is Greek Lessons, which is a translated Korean novel. I took it to Korea with me, tried to read it. It was extremely boring. Didn't finish it, DNF'd it. Here it is in the Unhaul section. One is The Nature of Witches. This had a really cool premise of witches that could control like the weather and different scenarios with the weather. It sounded so interesting, but I read it and it was completely forgettable and uninteresting, and I got about halfway through and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna give up. I'm just gonna give up. I tried to read it twice. The second time was when I got halfway through and I was like, you know what, I'm calling it a day. I don't want to finish this one. And the next one is kind of sad, but this is The Memory Librarian by Jeanette Monet, and it's a collection of short stories. It's signed, it has sprayed edges. I got it on sale for £8, but none of that saved this book because I read The Memory Librarian. It was interesting. It gave similar vibes to 1984 and The Memory Police, but it didn't really have as much behind it as those. Like, it was interesting and I liked the trans representation as well, like, but it just didn't really do anything for me, which is sad. And then I tried to read the second story in this collection, had no interest. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to waste what's left of 2024 on this book. Let me squeeze in some other books so that I can get to my goal of 150 books, which I did get to. I'm very excited for, with the help of some manga, but I got there. So yeah, I kind of just put it down, and now I'm just like, am I ever going to pick it up again? Probably not. Let's unhaul it. Let someone else enjoy this beautiful edition. And it's a shame. I did really want to like this one, but it just wasn't for me. I didn't like the writing style, and I didn't really enjoy the world that much. So yeah, bye bye. Then we're on to the last 2 stacks here. We're nearly there. We've nearly done 60 books, guys. Like, I say I've done all this. You guys need to unhaul your own books next time, okay? Stop watching unhaul videos and go unhaul your own books, okay? Next book I'll be getting rid of is a World Book Day one. This is Naught Forever, which is by Mallory Blackman. It's kind of it's an addition to the series Noughts and Crosses, which I have not even read. I've read this one. It was interesting and made me want to read that quartet. I think there's 4 books in that series. I never actually did read them. I own them still, but I haven't read them. So maybe I'll get around to them, but I don't really feel the need to have this book because, yeah, I don't need it anymore. Then the next one, again, is an additional book for a larger series, which is this one. This is Magnus Chase, 9 from the 9 World by Rick Riordan. This is adjacent to the Magnus Chase series by Rick Riordan, which is about all the Norse gods and Magnus Chase, the main character. And this one basically follows 9 different kind of short stories set in that world. It was okay. I don't really feel the need to keep it. It's just taking up room on my shelf. I'm not a particular big fan of the Magnus Chase. I'm mainly here for Percy Jackson, but yeah, I'm going to unhaul this one. Rid of is The Princess Diaries by Carrie Fisher. This is her memoir, and she talks a lot about her affair with Harrison Ford. And yeah, I'm just not that interested, you know. I read it. I'm glad I read it, but I don't need it anymore. So bye-bye, Carrie Fisher. That sounded really harsh because she is actually dead now. I'm R.I.P. Carrie Fisher. Like, I'm sorry about that. You seem nice, but R.I.P. your book and you, I guess. So the next one is one that I really, really did like, but I just don't feel the need to keep a physical copy of anymore, and that is Night Crawling by Layla Motley. Definitely recommend this book. It's about police exploitation of vulnerable classes, specifically sex workers. And yeah, it's a very interesting book. It's very heartbreaking. It has a really heartbreaking end. I highly recommend this one. I can't wait to pass this on to someone that will love it as much as I did. But yeah, I just don't feel like the need to keep a physical copy anymore because I've read it and I enjoyed it and I want someone else to enjoy it. So the next 2 books are from an author that Elizabeth is going to get angry at me because I constantly, like in every unhaul that I've done recently, I've got rid of a book from this author, and honestly it's not personal, I promise. His books just don't really speak to me, and that is Alexis Hall. So sorry, Elizabeth, but I'll be getting rid of Boyfriend Material and 10 Things That Never Happened. I read this one because everyone said it was going to be like Red, Brown, Royal Blue, and that it was like a copy of Red, Brown, Blue, Royal Blue, but then there's nothing like Red, Brown, Royal Blue. Like, I really don't know where the comparisons come from. I didn't really enjoy this one. It was enjoyable, I guess, but it's not one that stuck with me. I don't really remember anything about it. Don't feel the need to keep it. I'm going to give this my friend because she really wants to read it for the same reasons that I did, because it was like a rip-off of Red, Brown, Blue. So I'm going to let her realise that it's not. So that's that one. And then 10 Things That Never Happened, I did actually really enjoy. This was like a fake amnesia one. He's trying to trick his boss during Christmas, try and keep him on rather than firing him. And he comes up with the idea of pretending to have amnesia. So the boss has to look after him. And it's very fun, very interesting, but I don't feel the need to keep it. So yeah, that's 2 Alexis Hall books that I'm getting rid of. Sorry, Elizabeth. Oh, mates. And this is by Susan Lee. This book I had lots of hype for because of the Roomies Digest, really loved it. And I did like the book, and I also really liked the cover. Sorry, I'm going to say that again. But yeah, it just wasn't that gripping. Like, I'm not that enthralled by it. I don't feel the need to keep it. I did enjoy my time when I was reading it, but I'm never going to read it again. It doesn't bring me any joy when I look at it particularly, so I'm going to let it go. The next one that I'm going to get rid of is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. I bought this on an impulse because I read it. I read all of it whilst just stood in Tesco's because it's like just really short kind of snippets of quotes and interesting things and lots of beautiful artwork. But I just don't need this anymore. Like, it's just sat on my shelf. I never go back and look at it. And I think someone else might enjoy this more than I have. It's literally just sat on my shelf. But I did really like this one. It's very cute. But yeah, just read it when you're in the shop. But the next one I'm going to be getting rid of is Mallory by Josh Malerman. This is the sequel to Bird Box. I really enjoyed Bird Box, and I thought this was like a perfect sequel. I think it did what a sequel should do, which is expand on the world but not too much, and kind of follow on the characters in like the way it does. And kind of explain some answers that weren't given in the first book. I think it did a perfect job of being a sequel. I just don't really want the hardback anymore. If I was ever gonna want to reread it, I'd want to get the paperback. But yeah, for now, I'm just gonna get rid of this one. I did like it, but I have no need to keep it, you know? Okay, and then, this is gonna seem weird, but I'm gonna be getting rid of A Gathering of Shadows by V. Schwab and also A Conjuring of Light by V. Schwab. This is gonna seem weird because I'm getting rid of the second and third book, but I'm keeping the first book, which is A Dark Shade of Magic, because I enjoyed A Dark Shade of Magic. I have a video on this trilogy as well, go watch that. But I really enjoyed the first book, and then the second book I kind of started to lose interest, and the third book I was kind of disappointed by, which I know is controversial because a lot of people really like the third book. But yeah, I'd rather just keep the one that I liked, which was the first one, which I would definitely reread. I've already read it twice. And I'm going to get rid of these two because I'm never going to read these again, you know? So yeah, sorry V. Schwab, very hit or miss with me. I have a video featuring more V. Schwab books coming soon, so I'll keep an eye out for that. This video is mainly just me promoting books, videos that I'm going to do eventually this year. Sorry about that, I'm just promoting myself. But yeah, I'm going to get rid of these 2 books because I just don't think I'll ever reread them, and they're just taking up room on my shelf. Okay, last but not least, I have the last 10 books here, and they're all by the same author. And okay, I just want to preamble this, but this is not a personal attack on this author, okay? Just because I'm get rid of 10 books from this author, it doesn't mean I don't like them. It just means I've moved on. And that is all of these books by Leigh Bardugo. Now, please don't click off. There's a reason I left these to last, because I know a lot of people are like, how dare you, I'm clicking off this video, but please hear me out. Please hear me out. With Leigh Bardugo, I thoroughly enjoyed Six of Crows, the duology. I loved that duology. It was brilliant. I read it in college. I went to her signing for Ninth House and got those 2 books signed because she was doing 2 books, and I took the duology of Six of Crows. And she was absolutely lovely. I had my nails painted like Ninth House, and she was really nice about that. And yeah, she is absolutely wonderful. She's lovely. I really love her books, Six of Crows, which I'm keeping. I'm going to keep my paperbacks that I got signed by her, and I'm keeping the special editions of Six of Crows that I have, which are like the black ones with the foil on. But every other book she's ever written, I'm going to be unhauling here because they're just taking up room on my shelves, and I don't think I'll ever go back to them. Please, Forgive me. So I'm going to be getting rid of. So in that sense, I'm going to be getting rid of Shadow and Bone, the whole trilogy. I just don't think I'll ever come back to these. I didn't particularly like them. I don't really remember much about them. I didn't really like the TV adaptation of them. Like, it wasn't perfect, and they kind of squished the last 2 books in because they knew they were going to cancel it. But yeah, I will just watch the Netflix show if I ever want to revisit this particular part of the Grishaverse world. But I'm never going to reread these books, and they're just taking up room on my shelves, and I think it's time for me to just let them go to someone else and move on, okay? So that's Shadow and Bone. I'm also going to be getting rid of the King of Scars books. These are both signed, which it hurts. I did like King of Scars, but then I didn't really like what this duology did with Nikolai, who is a fantastic character. I love Nikolai, specifically in, was it Siege and Storm that he was introduced? I really liked him in that one, but I just didn't really like where he went in these books. He kind of went around a bit broodily, he had a brooding era, and I didn't really like it. And I didn't like that these books brought back a specific character from other books that I don't think should have returned. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed by these books. I liked this one. This one was where it lost me. So yeah, I liked one of the crows. I won't say who, because I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but one of the crows is in these books, and I really liked them being in this book as well. I really like their story as well. But yeah, I don't really want to hold on to these if I'm not going to hold on to Shadow and Bone. So yeah, that's that. Then... So that's 5 books. So 5 more from Leigh Bardugo. These next 2 aren't a part of the Grishaverse, and that is Ninth House and Hellbent, which Emily is going to kill me for, because I unhauled a second copy of Ninth House I had in a previous video, and she was like, "What are you doing?" It's official. I'm getting rid of this duology. I'm so sorry, Emily, and everyone that likes these books, but these just doesn't really resonate with me. I didn't find any interest in this one. I literally don't remember anything about this one other than they go to hell at some point. That could have been in the first book as well. I don't know. That's all I remember about this duology. And I think it has a specific audience that will like it, and I'm just not part of that audience. I'm so sorry. So yeah, and it also hurts because these are both special editions. This one has the sprayed edges. This one has the cover variation of the blue, and it also has an annotated chapter in the back. So maybe I'll try and sell these on Vinted. I don't know. That's where I get all my nerdy stuff from. So I don't know, maybe I'll give selling the books a go, but if not, I'll just donate them. Who cares? But yeah, hopefully someone else will really love these editions. So yeah, sorry Emily, but I'm going to be getting rid of Ninth House. They just weren't for me, and they're just taking up room on my shelves. Then the last 3 are all kind of additional Grishaverse books. So the first one is the special edition of Shadow and Bone. This is what I was talking about with the kind of, well, this one's blue, but this hardback and foiled design. This one is for Shadow and Bone. It's a shame they didn't do the other 2 books. Maybe I would have kept it if I had the other 2, but they never did them. But this is just a special collector's edition of Shadow and Bone. It has sprayed edges, has the cover variation, different back, and some nice artwork on the inside. Someone else will enjoy this more than me. I'm keeping my 6 of Crows ones, but I don't need this one. Then I'll also be getting rid of Lives of Saints. This is an additional book that was kind of released because it's also a prop within the adaptation, and this basically explains all the different saints in the Grishaverse and the stories behind them and how they became saints. It has lovely artwork in. If I was going to keep this, it would be for the artwork, but I think that's kind of unhinged, but it has beautiful artwork within it, so props to the artist. But yeah, I don't need this. I'm getting rid of the Grishaverse books. I don't need this one. And then that kind of hints to the last book of this video that I'll be unhauling, and that is the Language of Thorns, Midnight Tales and Dangerous Magic. This is just different short stories set in the Grishaverse universe. I don't need it. I don't even remember any of the stories in it. It does, again, have nice artwork in it, but I'm never going to read it again. I don't remember what happened. I'm out of breath. But yeah, I'm going to get rid of the Language of the Thorns because I'm getting rid of all the other ones, so why not? So yes, that is the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed that. The Unhaul was it rather took my breath away. I feel like my voice has gone very raspy. I just had to pause for a drink. But yeah, I got rid of 60 books. and hoard 25. So I think that's a really good ratio. I got rid of over 2 books for every book that I hoard. If this has inspired you to do kind of a thorough cleansing of your bookshelves, I wish you luck in that as well. All the best. It can be really hard to kind of separate those sentiments of books and just be like, you know what, I'm not going to read this again, I'm going to let go of it. So that can be hard. So I wish you the best if this has inspired you to do an unhaul, but also if it's inspired you to do a haul, go enjoy yourself, go buy yourself some books, but be responsible, okay? Only buy books that you're gonna read. But yeah, that is the video. I really hope you enjoyed. Hopefully this wasn't as long as my previous video, which was over like 2 hours long. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this far. If you did, please leave a like and let me know that you liked the video. And feel free to comment down below, tell me about why I'm wrong about unhauling any of these books, or tell me why I'm right. Let me know your thoughts on the books that I hoard, and if you are going to be reading any of them soon as well. But yeah, just let me know, just talk to me in the comments. I get lonely, guys, please. I'm joking. But yeah, have a brilliant 2025. I'll see you in my next video, which will be the best books that I read in 2024 and the worst book that I read in 2024, and trust me, there's some terrible ones that I read. So yeah, that'll be the next video out after this one. But yeah, happy 2025. Let's have a brilliant reading year. Let's get our goals accomplished, and let's just have a brilliant one and go into 2026 fresh after this. Let's just get all the hard work done in 2025, and 2026 will be easy peasy. Okay, so I'm gonna stop rambling. Leave a like, comment and subscribe for more videos from me. Check out all the videos that I self-promoted in this video if you want. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Have a brilliant 2025. Happy New Year to everyone. Bye.